G'day everybody. Wade Northhausen here for Billboard Battalion. Today we're coming to you from our headquarters here downtown Cayuga, and we're giving a bit of an idea of more upcoming interviews that we're going to be doing in the lead up to the federal election 2025 in Australia here. We've got some really great candidates who are lined up to do interviews with. And I think this is the most important election that pretty well we've ever had in Australia, because the future of our country is on the balance right now. It's at the crossroads of whether we have a country left or we don't. So therefore, I wanted to just let you know of a couple of the interviews that we've got coming up in the very near future. And the first one will actually be tonight at 7 o'clock Victorian time, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So this interview is going to be with Michael Offerdale, and he comes from Queensland, and he's standing as a candidate for the Libertarians. So that'll be Saturday, the 19th of April 2025 at 7 o'clock tonight, once again Victorian time. So we're trying to put together quite a number of our candidates and also other people who we're going to be talking to during this time, and try and get an idea of what many of the Australian people, in particular a lot of our farmers, think about this election, about where politics is at, how the farming industry is being treated, what's being done to the agricultural industry and our country generally. So when we're talking to Michael tonight, he's standing in the seat of Maranoa, which is the federal seat where David Littleproud is currently the member. Now, David Littleproud is the Deputy Prime Minister. He's the leader of the Nationals, and in Queensland there. And we really want to see what Michael's got to say about why he's standing. He's a publican in a small town called Tabea, which is up in Queensland. And there's been some big issues up there with regard to, as I understand it, parts or most of the town being just handed over to a group of supposed Aboriginal representatives. So there's a whole lot happening, which I think is what we're starting to see all over Australia, is examples of some pretty serious and bad things that are happening under the disguise of Aboriginal, whatever you want to call it, reconciliation, I don't know, land rights, whatever. So this is really important, very seriously important, and it'd be very interesting to hear Michael's take on David Littleproud's position, in fact, the coalition's position. So, and I'd also say that, I'd also offer an opportunity for David Littleproud to come on Billboard Battalion and also similarly do an interview to put his side of the case forward. So that's one of the things that we've got going at 7 o'clock tonight, which is Saturday night, the 19th of April, 2025. And then on Monday night, which will be the 21st of April, 2025 at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be talking with a Senate candidate for Western Australia, which is by the name of Rod Culleton. So Rod Culleton is the leader of GAP, the Great Australian Party, and Rod Culleton has been a federal senator before and has had really quite a colourful career in the politics of what's happening. And Rod comes to us with an enormous amount of experience and knowledge on many things. And one of the main things, of course, is the Australian Constitution. So we've seen a lot that Rod's been involved in, and a lot of situations where he's called out illegal, what he calls illegal activities with the throwing off farms of the people who own them. And illegal activity that have got rid of them, and just recently is saying that he's had a lot of success with getting farmers who were illegally thrown off farms reunited and got back on their farms. So that's going to be a very interesting discussion, a very interesting conversation, because there's a lot happening that is so bad. So we'll probably look at target an hour or so interview with Rod on Monday night, but it could go a bit longer. So we'll just see how things roll there. Also, Rod, I spoke to him last night on the phone. And anyway, there's a few people who are saying some pretty disparaging things about Rod Culleton, about his past and about his financial state and situation and things he's been involved in. So we said to Rod, would you like an opportunity to speak to this? And he said straight away, and I think this might be a bit of a mark of the man, he said straight away, okay, well, let's talk about that on the interview on Billboard Battalion, and let's open it up for people who might have some accusations or might have some questions about how Rod's behaved or his financial situation, and start to dispel some of the rumours that people are saying and talking about, which in some cases, people are really trying to run others down. So, and I think that speaks a lot to the integrity of Rod. I've heard some pretty nasty comments over the years. So he said, let's give an opportunity for a few people to ask a question or put one of these accusations to him and see what he's got to say, how he responds. So I think that's going to be, quite important. I think that's going to be a case of it doesn't get any better than that for people who have got something to say. Give them an opportunity to ask the question, and if we go ahead with this, then that will put a lot of things to bed. It will make sure that a lot of this gets cleaned up. So, having said that, what I've decided to do is, if anybody has a question that they want to ask Rod or something they want to say to him along that, he's involved in the wool industry, heavily involved in the wool industry, and I know there's a few people have made claims about his dealings as a wool buyer or broker or whatever it turns out to be. I'm not 100% sure. What you can do and how we can get some people on to the interview tonight, on Monday night, and give them an opportunity to speak to Rod face to face, so to speak, although it's over the Zoom, obviously, is to email us at contact@billboardbattalion.com. That is contact@billboardbattalion.com, and under the subject, just put Rod Culleton. So that way we can have a look at, even if we get any emails come in, and that way we can get back to some people. I mean, depending, of course, on how many you get, you're going to have to try and work out where you can fit in. Then we can email back or phone. If you put your phone number on, will be handy. We could phone back to people and say, rightio, we'll organise to email you a link so that we can include them in the show on Monday night and have a direct conversation with Rod Culleton. So I think that Rod, in agreeing to do that, and that was his suggestion. When I said to him last night about things, he said, give people, get them on the show, give them an opportunity to talk to me, and I can explain what's happened or what they think has happened or what is the reality. Rod also will be talking about issues to do with the Constitution, I'll be asking him questions about the successes that they've had in dealing with many of the illegal activities that banks and so on have undertaken to illegally throw people off their places. And I think it's great to see that he's had some really big wins. He's also we'll ask him a little bit about his recent court win, where literally 3 hours after the win they had in court, Rod's barrister, would you believe, passed away. So, there's a lot of stuff to cover here. A lot of it's fairly intricate, and but it's important. These are the sort of things that you're not going to get the Prime Minister to come and answer. These are the kind of things you're not going to see David Littleproud, the leader of the Nationals. You won't see Adam Bant come on. You won't see Peter Dutton. All these people, I would be pretty sure to say, they would be too cowardly and too frightened and too weak to come on and do an interview with Farmer Wade on Billboard Battalion and just throw it open to have these things looked at and discussed. Because as we know, the major parties are all a part of the World Economic Forum. They're all a part of the UN, the WHO, and they've signed us up to some shocking, terrible, absolutely disastrous policies and things that they've done. So we're going to also start to talk to other people during the day. We'll be doing some interviews at 12 o'clock midday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, Victorian time. And, just to get a few other people's ideas. So I think that's going to be very interesting. We might also see if we can have a bit of a chat and do a few interviews with other platforms who are interviewing people in the politics. So we're going to have a bit of an action-packed couple of weeks. In amongst that, of course, we've got Anzac Day coming up on the 25th of April. So it's all happening. It's all happening here. A lot's going on in Australia right now, and we need to do the best we can to let people hear from the candidates that the mainstream media will try and shut down and censor, the ones that you won't see at the Meet the Candidate forums around the countryside. So a lot's going to be happening. All right, people. Well, I think we can be quite happy to call it quits at that. Today is Saturday, the 19th of April, 2025. We're coming to you live from Coyuga, North Central Victoria, Australia. And thanks very much for watching. And be good to see everybody on at 7 p.m. tonight. And get ready for our series right up until the elections. So thanks very much, everybody.